How are you, Jaboukie?
Hey, Abe, I'm good. How are you?
Good. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
I feel like this has to be one of the more fun roles to play in this film because you get to watch all the chaos, contribute quite a bit to it, but then not directly feel the impact and the consequences.
100%. It is also kind of my ideal position in life. I want to see other people's mess and I want my life to be peaceful. I don't want any drama, but I love hearing other people's drama.
I just think about, the scene where, you're in the car and just sort of leaning forward and just taking stock of what's going on around you. And I think that's very much what the audience is doing in this film. But I'd like to think that some audience members might not meddle quite as much as, Greg does to sort of encourage this mistake to happen.
Yeah, he definitely has his vision for chaos for Connor. Still cares about him, still loves him, but I think also Greg is like, you're not getting off the hook. You made this mistake. You're gonna feel the burn.
Well, would you say that in your own life you have one, friends who turn to you for such advice, and two, that you would offer it knowing the potential consequences, which hopefully aren't quite as dramatic as we see? I like to think this is like the worst case scenario type thing.
Well, I always say there are taxes to tea. If someone is coming to you and they're giving you tea, you have to contribute. You either have to console or you have to advise. Like, you can't just take the tea and then send them on their way. That's selfish. It has to be an exchange. So I do give advice a lot. Of course, I give the caveat of like, but that's just me. You do what you want. I don't. What do I know? But I'm obsessed. I don't even think of it as like tea. Sometimes it's really like psychoanalysis. I go deep. I want to learn a human truth.
I feel like we do get some of Greg's own romance in this film, but that's like the supporting. We'd love to see a longer, extended version of that whole thing. What do you think we learn more about Greg and his own story?
I think for Greg and his own story, and maybe this is a little bit of a self drag, but if you are that invested in other people's business, what are you avoiding about your own business? And I think that Greg might have some work to do in terms of maybe being a little bit more available. He finds it easy to criticize, but like maybe he's a little afraid of being vulnerable himself.
What can you say about working with Jonah?
That was so much fun. I actually kind of slipped into this role really easily because I had a best friend in high school named Connor, and I kept finding myself calling him Connor off camera, and really had to drill Jonah into my head. But Jonah was really sweet, and I will never forget. There was one day where we were snowed in. There was like this big snowstorm, and Jonah kind of pushed the car by himself out of the snowbank. And I was like, oh my God, that is a leading man. That was hot. That was handsome. Um, but yeah, he was super cool. Really fun to play with.
I would say that Greg has very different relationships with Olivia and Jenny. What can you say about Zoe and Ruby and that triangle for your Greg's triangle, what Greg's the lead of this movie?
Yeah. So, so I think for Greg, Olivia was always the person that really hurt his best friend. And as much as Greg cares about Connor, he also was pissed off that Connor was not fun for a few weeks because he got his heart broken by Olivia. So it's like I had to pick up the pieces. So I don't want to have to deal with that again. And he thinks that Jenny is really interesting and can't really suss her out. And I think gravitates towards her because of that, where he's like, you're different. I like you. Um, but at the end of the day, he's going to support whatever Connor wants. He's that kind of friend.
I feel like this is a festival tradition, but I remember this was the first movie I saw at South by Southwest this past year. I feel like no one knew exactly what it was about. There wasn't a lot out there. And now, with the trailer and everything, if you watch the trailer, you know a lot more. Do you feel like we haven't said anything specifically in this interview, but do you feel like people should know more, or it's better to go in being like threesome? That's interesting. I wonder what that could mean.
I think just go in, watch it, and let it guide you. But I think even if you think you know, you don't know. You have to go. You just have to see it.
What did you think of the audience reaction at South by Southwest?
I was kind of shocked. That was my first time seeing it. And I was kind of when people were gasping in the theater, I was like, see, exactly, juicy. I knew that this is going to be the reaction. I was gasping when I was reading it. So it kind of made me more excited for people to see it. I am so happy that it's getting a theatrical because this is really a film that should be experienced in a room full of people for sure. It'll definitely be, it's fun and it's cute. And I mean, it's really cozy. It's like a nice fall winter rom-com, but in the theater is going to be a lot of fun.
I agree. What else have you seen recently that you've really enjoyed that you'd recommend?
Well, I really loved Sorry Baby. Ava is a
Hmm.
friend. Sorry Baby was great. Um, and then I watch a lot of old stuff. I always feel like there's so much stuff that I need to catch up on. I watched Grey Gardens for the first time. Wow, crazy. That they like invented reality TV. Like it was so insane. Um, and yeah, I always blank when this question comes up. I also watched The Thing for the first time. Loved it. Yeah.
And what's next for you?
I just wrapped on a film called The Love Hypothesis that's going to come out next year, and I'm kind of excited for it. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for talking to me. Glad you enjoyed, reminiscing about the tea and offering your perspective on that. And wish you plenty of luck with this and everything else.
Thank you, Abe.